Beautiful Sherman Oaks, California. I'm Ford Quaintance here joined today by Will Weisberg, wishing you a warm welcome to this broadcast. What do you think, Will?
Well, Frisbee Burns Gymnasium has never had this much talent. Tyran Stokes and Nick Kamani are leading their respective groups. Here's Bowman with a finish. No good.
Rebound by Kamani there. I'll tell you right now, folks, it does not get better than this. As here's Amir Jones, the Harvard Westlake point guard, taking it up. Do commit Nick Kamani. Sterling. Tyran Stokes guarding, number one player in the class of 2026, a generational prospect. Kamani going to fire from downtown to try and break the ice of tonight's game. And he does. Like I was saying, it does not get better than this. These are two of some of the best teams in the country. Harvard Westlake comes in number 2 in the country. Notre Dame, number 26 nationally, 21-1 versus 18-3. Absolutely unbelievable rivalry game, crazy environment. What is it looking like to you right now, Will?
I'm telling you, oh, that looked like a foul to me. I'm telling you, this gym is definitely past its max capacity as Kamani trying to get to the hoop again. That is out of bounds. That'll be Harvard Westlake ball. The crowd is not liking it. Ford, what can you tell me about this crowd right now?
I'll tell you right now, there's two crowds in here. There's the Notre Dame crowd, which is in a whiteout theme, and the Harvard Westlake crowd in the back right corner of your screen in blackout, going toe-to-toe. And this rivalry is not just between these two teams or between the sports teams even. It's between the students. Notre Dame calls them daddy's money. Harvard Westlake calls them broke. It's really a rivalry that transcends sports, and so these two squads, they're going to have loud fans tonight, and it's going to create one of the best high school basketball atmospheres you'll ever see as Tyran Stokes takes the ball up the court. Early here in this first quarter, Harvard Westlake has a 5-0 lead. Ill-advised shot from Stokes with the rebound, and Nick Kamani picks up, going to take it back down court. Kamani into the paint, finds Isaiah Carroll out in the corner. Amir Jones going to try from downtown and connect. And Harvard Westlake jumps out. A quick start, 8-0. Notre Dame calls timeout.
That's already a quick 8-0 lead for the Harvard Westlake Wolverines. Nick Kamani leading the charge with 5 points to start off in the first 2 minutes. This is not the start we want for Notre Dame. Tyran Stokes put up a triple, barely hit rim. So what do you think about this performance to start off the game, Ford?
Well, I'll tell you, if you want to talk about getting the crowd engaged, that's the way to do it. Hot starts like that. But Harvard Westlake has an interesting phenomenon. They are a really poor second quarter team. Their points per quarter is 15 and 16 in the first, third, and fourth quarter. But in the second quarter, it's about 11 points. So Harvard Westlake, they get off to these hot starts, then they trail off. Let's talk a little bit about Nicholas Kamani, the guy who you just saw jump out with 5 points. Nicholas Kamani is the number 26 player in our class, the class of 2025. He's a 4-star, number 4 player in California, 89 rating on ESPN out of 100. He's an incredible prospect. This Harvard Westlake team, they've gone through some incredible prospects over the year, and he's just another one from this farm system who's going to go on and play high D1 ball.
Yeah, Harvard Westlake and Notre Dame, both not known for not having any talent. They are filled with talent year in and year out. Guys coming through the system like Angelino Mark, all 4 years, starter on freshman year. He's made his way up. Now he's the star of this team. What can you tell me about Angelino Mark? Zach White to the bucket. That is no good. Also, Navarro Bowman tries to get it back up. Stokes dunks it!
And that's what you want to see. That's how you get your crowd involved. 8-2 Harvard Westlake. Amir Jones out of bounds. And they say it went off Navarro Bowman last. Angelino Mark just hit 1,000 points on his high school career on their senior night back on Tuesday. And Lino Mark, he was the one freshman who made varsity his freshman year back in 2022. Coach Sargent does that. One freshman per year, and Angelino Mark was that one. And here's Isaiah Carroll hits the triple. And Harvard Westlake is scorching hot.
Harvard Westlake is 100% from three-point range, 3 for 3. 100% from the field, actually. Have not missed a shot. Here's Zach White trying to make something work. Bowman loses it. There's Carroll on the ground scrambling for it. Back to Kamani. Joe Sterling, we haven't seen him touch the ball yet. Deep triple. That's no good. There's JoJo.
That's Josiah Nance, the sophomore transfer. Gets blocked. And they say he's going to shoot 3 from the foul line. Josiah Nance transfer here from Heritage Christian. And it just really goes to show you that Notre Dame is always recruiting talent. Will, you've described Coach Sargent as one of the best recruiters in high school basketball. And you look at the kind of players he gets year in and year out: Tyran Stokes, Mercy Miller of Houston, Dusty Stromer of Gonzaga, Ben Stolzberg, formerly of Creighton, and Caleb Foster of Duke. I mean, come on, this guy's a recruiting machine.
And these guys weren't even recruited by some of these guys. Caleb Foster and Mercy Miller, funny story here, as JoJo's shooting free throws. They just walked on campus, walked right into Sargent's office and said, hey, we want to play for Notre Dame because it's a traditional high school experience. And that's something you can't really get at that many schools. Notre Dame and Harvard Westlake both known for being traditional high school experiences.
We saw there Joe Sterling get some of his first few touches of the game, the Crespi transfer, who came to Harvard Westlake this offseason after they lost to Harvard Westlake in the Mission League Final. Isaiah Carroll from way downtown. And there's the first miss of the night for Harvard Westlake. Gets the rebound back. The tough lay. The finish from Isaiah Carroll. Number 13 in black and red.
This is something interesting strategically that we're seeing from Rabibo. These Harvard Westlake Wolverines are not afraid to shoot the rock from three. Already 4 attempts. There's another bucket that goes down. A really slow start. Sargent uses his second timeout in only the first 3 minutes and 45 seconds. That is not a good start for the Notre Dame Knights at home. What can you tell me about Notre Dame at home, Ford?
Well, they haven't lost a home game, and as a matter of fact, they're 18-3. They haven't lost an away game either. They're neutral right now, and Harvard Westlake is out in the crowd chanting overrated at Tyran Stokes, and that might be fueling him up on the sideline there. Someone else who's fueled up on the sideline, Coach Matt Sargent. You can tell that he's quite pissed about this. He does not like to see his team going down 15-3 in the biggest rivalry that this school has in basketball. Will, why don't you tell me a little bit about the recent history of this rivalry just in these last few years as it materialized into one of the best rivalries in all of high school basketball?
Funny enough, Notre Dame and Harvard Westlake are both known to be superpowers, but this is pretty recent. So this rivalry is pretty recent. Notre Dame has won the last 2 away games against Harvard Westlake and has yet to win a game at home in the Castle against Harvard Westlake since 2016. 2016, coming on 10 years if they don't win it tonight. This is a big game. Tyran Stokes looks like he really wants to get that win, so let's see what happens here.
Well, it's not just about beating your rival, it's also about the implications. Notre Dame has never made the Open Division, which is the top division in California State basketball playoffs. Harvard Westlake has won that back-to-back years. If Notre Dame wants to secure a spot there, it probably means beating them, and this is not the start you want. As here's Navarro Bowman back to Tyran Stokes. Tyran Stokes, a 6'7", 240-pound shooting guard, turns it over. And the small mistakes just keep on building. Kamania up for Isaiah Carroll. And Harvard Westlake jumping out early to a 14-point lead with 3:50 to go in the first quarter.
And Ford, you mentioned small mistakes. These aren't really small mistakes, they're big. Notre Dame looks careless with the basketball. We already see 4 or 5 turnovers so far. Tyran just kind of throwing the ball in the middle of the key. We know Coach Rabibo is known for his man defense. His help is very fantastic. Every single guy is very technically sound. Harvard Westlake is one of the best coached teams in the country, and that's why they're one of the best teams in the country.
Stars are out tonight. We see Dusty Stromer's parents in the crowd. Dusty Stromer, who graduated in 2023, now a second-year player at Gonzaga, was one of the most instrumental players in this Notre Dame rebuild. And Will and I have watched that rebuild as we've gone through high school. We're seniors now. And we remember when this basketball team was just good, not great. And a guy like Dusty Stromer brought guys like Caleb Foster, Mercy Miller, and then later down the line, a guy like Tyran Stokes over Notre Dame, and has built this team into a powerhouse. But I'll tell you right now, they're not looking like a powerhouse.
Well, Tyran hasn't really been able to get anything, and he's the ringer. There's Kamania. He's been able to get almost anything he wants all night. Notre Dame is struggling on the offensive end. No rebounds on the defensive end. And here's
Amir Jones. And yeah, Nick Kamania, he's just getting whatever he wants. And here's Joe Sterling's first look from 3. And Caleb Ogbu fouled there. Caleb Ogbu actually played an instrumental role in last year's upset win at Taper Gym. It was a massive win at Harvard Westlake, and Caleb Ogbu sunk 2 free throws in that game and was a key element to it. So he might be the kind of player that Coach Sargent looks to tonight and say, if we're going to win this game, we need players like you to step up, and we need it most. You never know who it could be.
Well, to step up, we definitely need some soul searching. Notre Dame, as the lead goes to 15. in the first 5 minutes of this game. This is not the start you want. Here's Joe Sterling, transfer from Crespi. He had 17 points against Notre Dame last year. He is a star. And what can you tell me about Joe Sterling, Ford?
Well, where do you want me to start? Do you want me to start with the 16 Division I offers, the recent offer from USC, the buzzer beater against Sierra Canyon in their upset win in the Mission League semifinals last year, or the 24 points that he put up against this exact team before he transferred there over the summer? I mean, there's a lot to talk about with Joe Sterling as he shoots a second free throw. And Harvard-Westlake looks to jump out to what will now be a 20-3 lead, an abysmal start for these Notre Dame Knights.
This is just not the start you want at all. And there's no really direction at all offensively that we see. And we may be seeing an out-coaching right now. These Harvard-Westlake Wolverines look just absolutely ready to pounce on anything defensively. And they're giving nothing. That's a good bucket from Micah Tannenbaum, senior, one of the few seniors on this Notre Dame team. We're a very young team.
Only 3 seniors, Micah Tannenbaum, shooting guard Mark Lewis. As here's Josiah Nance taking up the floor, a careless turnover, and that kills any momentum they had as Nicholas Kamania takes it up and will shoot free throws. And here we see the Harvard-Westlake center, Baron Linnekens, subbing in for the first time tonight after Dominique Bentho got the start. But the interesting thing about those two centers, not much of a difference physically. Harvard-Westlake Wolverines have 3 guys that are all listed at 6'9" and about 240 pounds. So they have depth, maybe not a lot of variety, but they got a lot of depth. As Nicholas Kamania, the Duke commit, will shoot a couple of free throws. Drills the first, and Harvard-Westlake yet to miss any of their free throws. They're doing the big things and the small things correctly.
Yeah, Nick Kamania will be headed to Duke next year, this summer actually, with the Boozer Twins. They just beat Notre Dame a couple weeks ago in a tournament. One of Notre Dame's 3 losses. There's Isaiah Carroll to join us again. He had a pretty good start so far with 4 points.
Carroll, who holds a lone division offer from Cal Poly, who recently made basketball history, not in the most positive way by having the record of the longest streak of conference losses. So maybe Isaiah Carroll looking to change that culture when he possibly attends there next year. As there's Navarro Bowman off target. 17-point lead, let me remind you, if you're just joining in here to this Notre Dame Sportsnet broadcast. Isaiah Carroll open and hits. 20-point lead in the first quarter. It's a landslide. It's a disaster. I mean, we're lost for words up here.
See, that's the kind of thing you need to start doing, though, if you're Tyrann Stokes. You need to say, all right, this offense isn't clicking. We're not able to get to the rim. I am Tyrann Stokes. I'm 6'7", 245. I'm going to get to the rim, and I'm going to draw fouls or score points. Looks like Angelino Mark came down with an injury. He's coming back from the tent, joining us back on the bench. Hopefully he's okay. Tyrann Stokes shoots his first free throw. There we go. Lead down to 19.
And you better hope that Angelino Mark is okay, because he is in some ways the glue of this team. Angelino Mark, the Rutgers commit just recently, earlier this year, and he has just been such a strong leader of this offense, and he's really one of the best players and most underrated players as well in recent Notre Dame basketball history. Here's Joe Sterling, yet to score his first bucket, but making an impact. Back to Pierce Thompson. Harvard-Westlake starting to switch around the guys they got in. Cole Holden subs in for the first time tonight.
One of the more positive defensive possessions right here. Here's Nolan Lewis. There we go. That's what you want. You hear the crowd getting fired up. This is the energy you want from Notre Dame.
Well, now if you want to latch on to this momentum and keep it going, you got to score some points and have some positive possessions, because you can get this crowd going, but you can silence them real quick with a bad turnover like they've done quite a few times tonight.
Some may think this Notre Dame roster being young is a negative. I see it as a positive. Guys like Nolan Lewis can go in. That's a horrible turnover. This might have killed the momentum. But as I was saying, guys like Nolan Lewis come in, just not aggressive on the offensive rebounding. Tyrann Stokes looking for someone to blame. That blame is right there for you, number 4.
Well, I've said before, Will, and I'll say it again. No matter what happens in tonight's game, you will say it was because of Tyrann Stokes. If Notre Dame loses, if they win, it will be because of Tyran Stokes' impact or lack thereof. We're seeing heavy on the lack thereof right now as he gets blocked at the rim by Baron Linnekens, getting the crowd fired up in his signature glasses, the big 6'9" center, shoving it in Tyran Stokes' face, who has gotten absolutely nothing going tonight so far.
Yeah, he has the 4 of 7 points, so not absolutely nothing, but very little. Scraps. If you're down 20 points, I'd say it's absolutely nothing. Zach White, one of the key players of this team, coming off, and Tyran Stokes looks like he's coming off. He looks not happy, and I would not be either.
Well, maybe they need a bit of a change in scenery, and also as Harvard Westlake is adjusting their lineup, they might need to do some of the same, as Nicholas Kamania is also sitting. Nolan Lewis back to Navarro Bowman. Bowman going to fire from 3. They need this badly, and they will not get it. And Pierce Thompson with the rebound. And all the rebounds, too. Notre Dame is getting killed in the rebound game here tonight. You can't win if you don't have the ball and you don't ever get it back. It's just as simple as that. Lewis playing tough, scrappy defense on Sterling, who gets by, finds the floater. 29-7. 3 seconds remaining. Navarro Bowman going to have to heave one up. Puts it up, doesn't go. A diabolical first quarter for Notre Dame. Harvard Westlake jumps out to a 29-7 lead. Will, what did you see, and probably most importantly, what did you not see in that first quarter?
Yeah, I was just about to say, Ford, I see absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. Angelino Mark, he was just under the bleachers. He seems to be returning the huddle. He doesn't seem to be in this game. His shoes aren't laced up. Someone I do see in the crowd is Asher Holliseum, former Notre Dame freshman starter. What can you tell me about, he was not a starter, sorry, correction. What can you tell me about Matt Sargent and his freshmen?
Well, we mentioned earlier that Angelino Mark was the only freshman on varsity. That's how it is every single year with Coach Sargent. He does 1 freshman per year. It's almost always a point guard, too. 3 or 4 years that I've been here, it has been. It was Angelino Mark in 2022, Zachary White in 2023, Asher Holliseum, who's in the crowd tonight, playing with, I believe it's Windward now. And this year it's Solomon Clanton, the freshman, who comes in at 5'11", but a wingspan that looks like it could be of someone who's 6'6", 6'7". So Sargent likes his freshmen, but he likes to keep them mostly in JV, except for that one lucky freshman who gets to play up. And usually, again, it's someone fast, someone shifty, and someone who can bring a lot of energy to the squad, which they might need right now. I'd almost say put in Solomon Clanton, get a change of scenery, let Tyran Stokes breathe it out on the bench, and come back in.
No, I think the way you get into this game is Tyran Stokes. It's just a matter of how and when. I think Tyran is inevitable, but 22 points is a very far hole. Here's where Notre Dame can capitalize this, as Ford mentioned earlier, this poor second quarter for them. Here's Kamania working on Zach, gets a lot of separation. His shot no good. There's an offensive rebound, nice for a change. Offensive rebounding, or defensive rebounding, has been very poor for Notre Dame.
They've lost on both sides of the rebound battle, and there's Tyran Stokes, hits a 3, and that might be just what he needs to get him going. But like we've been saying, Notre Dame has had a couple sparks to get them going. They haven't held on to it very long, any of those instances. As an animated Coach Sargent stalks the sideline. Here's Dom Bentho going up against Tyran Stokes. Big on big here. Kamania going to fire from way downtown. They'll take that shot any day.
Yeah, this defense looks very fired up. After that timeout or the end of the quarter, Coach Sargent seemed to be pretty fired up. This defense looks like they're trying to get the ball. They're trying to hold them in front of them. They're fine with those 3-point shots. Unluckily for Notre Dame, they have shot the 3 very well. There's Carroll's third 3. He has 14 points already.
Well, he might be looking at a better offer than Cal Poly if he keeps playing like that. 3 3-pointers on the night. Another lousy turnover from Tyran Stokes. He just looks a little bit off. Everything is just arrhythmic tonight.
Yeah, I think the scouts are definitely watching this one tonight. If you are a scout, this is the one to watch. Carroll again. He's feeling himself. He's 3 for 5 from the field, shooting 60% from 3 already. That is impressive.
Here's Zach White to take it up the court. Zachary White almost lost a handle on it. A lot of turnovers in this game as well. Tannenbaum behind the back. Tannenbaum delay. Did not have the angle. It doesn't get gets the foul.
Controversial call here. He did not get the foul, but they called it out on Harvard Westlake. You hear the Harvard Westlake student section saying, "Ref, you suck." I sort of agree.
Well, maybe that kind of call is what Notre Dame needs to get back in this game. I mean, I feel like just nothing is going their way at this moment. It looks like every ball is falling the wrong way. Every shot is getting tipped the wrong way. It's just not going their way. So maybe they need a lucky break like that as Josiah Nance will come and take up the court. Nance. Here's Navarro Bowman Jr. Tough way. Back to a 20-point game.
Well, this offense, that you mentioned it all being all over the place. It seems like the ball's all over the place. There's not much organization and many tip passes and balls in the middle of the key. This defense looks great, though. They're going to call a foul, but still a 20-point game. You need to start chipping back away in this game. These games are only 32 minutes in high school. So anything you can get. You can't get to a 20-point deficit and not act on it quick.
Well, if Harvard Westlake can go on a run, so can Notre Dame. But the truth is, it just has to be a lot better than this. Here's Don Bentho for the lay. It's just too easy.
Yeah, it's seeming like insomnia over here because it's going to be a long night.
Stokes trying to make an impact like he knows he can. Caleb Abu going to fire from 3 and hit. And so just like last year where he played a big role in bringing about that Notre Dame comeback, he might be the person to do it this year as well. You just never know who could be the one. Joe Sterling from way out. An ill-advised shot selection. Josiah Nance back the other way. Navarro Bowman Jr. from 3! They want the and one, they won't get it, but that's a big 3. It's back to a 16-point game. Navarro Bowman, the sophomore point guard.
Yeah, Navarro Bowman, I'll tell you something about him. He is the son of an NFL linebacker, 3-time All-Pro, Navarro Bowman. He sat beside Patrick Willis. He saw Super Bowl, and now his son, in the brightest of lights, performing when Notre Dame needs it most. Tell me about Navarro Bowman Jr.
Well, Navarro Bowman Jr., sophomore transfer coming in. He's been regarded as one of the most talented point guards in this class. There's White with the finish and one. And so slowly but surely, they're grabbing the walls and clawing their way back up into this game. 30-24, and Zach White will go to the line for the and one. Interestingly enough, Navarro Bowman Jr. is not the only son of an NFL player on this Notre Dame Knights squad. The man shooting a free throw right now, Zach White, is the son of Russell White, who played in the NFL for a year after playing for the California Golden Bears. So a lot of very talented athletic families up in this building right now and taking the court for the Notre Dame Knights as White will shoot a free throw. Doesn't go.
You need those free throws. That looked like a lane violation to me. The refs look like they're sort of taking the approach of let the kids play. I was waiting on that and one for the call. They called in Joe Sterling. Deep 3 right at the logo. That kind of stops the Notre Dame momentum.
Well, I say if you're Notre Dame, you got to be within 12 by the end of this half. I feel like if you go down 20 with 8-minute quarters, it's just not going to look very good. As here's Cole Holden, easy lane to the hoop. And every time it closes up, it just opens wide up again. And Notre Dame's gonna need to seriously reflect, do some soul searching at halftime. Ball goes out off of the Wolverines, and Coach Rabibo thinks it went off of Caleb Ogbu last.
Yeah, it looked like it was off Ogbu, but they're gonna call a push. One of the few foul calls so far. They've only called a foul 3 times against Harvard Westlake. Here's Ogbu, the brother of Dante Ogbu, former state championship for the Notre Dame Knights. Now I think he's pursuing a rap career. I'm not sure. Here's Bowman working. Tannenbaum. Let's see what he can get going. Here's Stokes. Let's see what he can do. That's kind of a desperation heave, and you can tell. That's just not a good shot. Tyran Stokes, he's known for his physical demeanor, and he's just not using it to his advantage. Maybe he's intimidated by this large 6'9", 3'6'9" plus players on this Harvard Westlake squad.
And that's to remind you guys, is number 30 right now, Dom Bentho. That's the guy with the glasses, Baron Linnekens, and Bryce Williams, who hasn't seen the court tonight, as there's exactly what we meant by using that body to the advantage. Tyrad Stokes, let's remember, #1 player in the class of 2026. He's 6'7", about 240 pounds listed as. He might be even bigger than that, to be honest. And he's bigger than any other 5-star, even though some 5-stars in his class are 7 foot even, 7'1". He's a big guy, and he's strong. And honestly, I don't know what he's doing taking these ill-advised shots. Use your body, go to the rim, and pound it home, like Zion Williamson in college or LeBron in high school.
Yeah, that's what I recommend too. That free throw does not go in. You hear the Harvard Westlake bench screaming, "Stokes is soft." And you can see on his face, he just does not look in it right now. He looks very upset. Not much action. Usually I've watched a couple of Notre Dame practices, and he's the type to, let out a couple screams after a big dunk, and he's just failed. Jump ball looks like it. No. They're going to call a foul from the ref who's farther away.
Well, Sargent unhappy with that, probably talking about consistency, saying, you've let the kids play all day. Why call that now? And it just looks like he'll be animated all night. That is kind of how Coach Sargent likes to be. He's always out there speaking to his guys, being told to step back by the refs because he's always up in the court trying to get a better point to stand from and talk to his players. This will be Amir Jones inbound. No, they'll switch it out for Joe Sterling, the Crespi transfer, who's had a seamless transition into this squad, being one of the most instrumental players here. 2 minutes and 25 seconds remain in this first half. Harvard Westlake 39, Notre Dame 22. Holden tipped out of bounds by Navarro Bowman. It'll be Harvard Westlake ball, but a nice play there. Get the crowd up and going a little bit.
Yeah, that's good D. Looks like the shot clock reset after that. I'm a little confused what's going on, but I thought there were a couple seconds left after a good possession, but 25 again. There's a shot from Sterling, no good, but a self-rebounded Stokes! No way, Jose, or no way, Joe Sterling.
No way, Jose would probably be the better way to say that. We got the sentiment. It's a big block from Tyrad Stokes, who finally lets out a little bit of a scream. Maybe a little bit of frustration in that scream, don't you think?
I mean, if I were him, I'd be frustrated. 17-point hole, 2 minutes left in the first half. I mean, you really got to start to make things work, or else this game is going to be too far in your rearview mirror.
Well, it might come down to the coaches and how they manage their players tonight. These two squads are coached, Notre Dame by 11th year coach, 7th year at the head coach position, Matt Sargent, who has turned this program upside down and made it a basketball powerhouse. And of course, Coach David Rabibo, the excellent Harvard Westlake Wolverine coach, who has made a profound impact on this program. And Will, you mentioned that he is one of the better coaches in high school basketball in terms of farming players. Matt Sargent is known for his recruiting, but Rabibo known for being able to farm. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, Coach Rabibo is as good as it gets. That's why Harvard Westlake is top 10 in the nation time and time again, year after year since he's taken the job. Harvard Westlake, they're number 2 in the nation with maybe some would argue with a less talented roster this year. Less talented than Notre Dame's roster. But as we can see so far, it is all Harvard Westlake all night long so far.
Sterling being worked on by Tannenbaum in the corner. Sterling has to find another way. Jones, here's Holden. Holden looking to pull up. Jones from way out. No good. He misses it short. Jones, Carroll, Jones, Sterling. Sterling, Tannenbaum playing tough physical defense on him. Tannenbaum boxing him off, travels it, and Micah Tannenbaum. That's how you get a crowd going in those big defensive plays. Scrappy, a pest, in your face, and causes the travel for Joe Sterling.
You see the crowd screaming, you can't do that. But here's something I want to talk about on that possession. They do get a stop, but Notre Dame forces themselves to get 2 stops due to the fact that they let a rebound happen from a guy that had just shot it who was on the floor. That is not okay. You need to crash your defensive boards because they're losing on the offensive boards end. Here's Bowman. Sizing it. Oh my goodness! Oh wow! Broke his ankles and made the three. The crowd is nuts.
Navarro Bowman. How about it? You want to talk about a sophomore? Any nerves? I don't sense any. He's been the best player for Notre Dame in this game. Only a sophomore. That one misses short. Caleb Aubrey gets the rebound. And now Notre Dame needs to get going. This high-octane offense needs to turn on the engine. Navarro Bowman fires from three. No good. Missed it just a little long.
Yeah, but I don't mind that offensive possession. You right off the hot hand. You need something. He's the hot hand. Let's get some momentum going.
Amir Jones, Tannenbaum working his tough defense on him. White trying to keep Jones out of the paint. Here's Cole Holden. Tannenbaum's on him. He has nowhere to go. Tannenbaum. He does it again. Micah Tannenbaum, the defensive prowess. Someone get that man an offer.
I concur with that statement. Here's Zach White taking the ball out. Here's Ogbu. Shifty and quick guard. He's stepped up for the Notre Dame Knights. Last year he had a very big breakout year. Here's Zach White. Always known as your guy who gives you 8 to 10 a night. Very reliable in the clutch. He actually hit that buzzer beater at Pauley Pavilion, against Sierra Canyon.
7 seconds remain. Harvard Westlake going to try and get one last shot. Cole Holden from the corner. Misses it long. Carroll gets the rebound and goes in as time expires. And so in this first half here tonight, in the biggest game of the season, and maybe in all of high school basketball so far this year, Harvard Westlake leads Notre Dame 41-25. We thank you for tuning in here to Notre Dame Sports. I'm Ford Quaintance here with Will Weisberg. We'll be back after the break. Well, we welcome you back here for the start of the second half for Notre Dame Knights hosting the Harvard-Westlake Wolverines. Just a short trip down from Coldwater Canyon, where Taper Gym is, where Notre Dame defeated them last year. And Will, first half reflections, keys for the second half, what do you think?
Well, I saw Coach Sargent talking to Tyrann, and he was holding up his hands. It looked like he was saying, I can't do anything, which is honestly the truth. He could not have done anything with this defense that swarms the ball when it is given to the Tyrann.
Well, I've said it before, Will, and I'll say it again. This game, no matter what happens, you will say it was because of Tyrann Stokes. If they lose, it was because of his lack of performance. If they win, it was because he will take over, and that's what he needs to do. It may have seemed like we were a bit harsh on him in that first half, but that was just because the expectations are so unfathomably high. This is a player who was awarded in a ceremony his gold medal for the USA U16 team just earlier today. This is a generational talent. He needs to take over. Notre Dame wants to come back in this one.
Yeah, we see this Harvard-Westlake squad. Whenever Tyrann gets the ball, they're double-teaming him, which should be doing. Here's Tyrann looking for any room. Isaiah Carroll on him. He had the hottest start of the night so far. He has 16 points. Caleb Ogbu from deep. No. He got an earlier offensive rebound. That's the kind of thing you need right now if you want to claw back into this game. Here's Nick Kamania taking the ball up the court. Ford.
Kamania, the Duke commit. Number 4 on number 4. Here's Joe Sterling into the lane, gets the and one. And Joe Sterling starting to come into his own here, and Notre Dame really needs to figure out how to shut him down. Interestingly enough, I don't feel like I've seen a whole lot of Nicholas Kamania. It's been the other guys who have really been eating tonight. So Notre Dame is doing the same thing on defense that Harvard-Westlake is doing, shutting out their number 1 guy. The difference is that Harvard-Westlake's number 2, 3, 4, and 5 guys have been holding their own, and Notre Dame's have not been.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. This Notre Dame squad, the guys below Tyrann Stokes, have not really stepped up to the level that they need to be. Here's Joe Sterling for his third to get that third point, take an 18-point lead. This is not what you want to start the half. Here's Sterling. Takes a deep sigh. And I was watching warm-ups, and it just completely looked lackadaisical and defeated from Notre Dame as they were going through layup lines. They were kind of just chucking up shots, frowns on their faces, and you wear it on your sleeve.
Well, we see right now one of the biggest developing stories of the night. Angelino Mark is on the bench, and it looked like earlier in this game he came out of the athletic training tent, and he might have something of an injury that might be treating him well right now, as Tyrann Stokes gets a block on the traveling by Nicholas Kamania. But, if Notre Dame cannot continue this game with Angelino Mark, it's going to spell trouble.
And we know Tyrann can shoot the ball, but his real strength is getting to the basket. In that last possession, we saw him in the paint, and he just had 4 Harvard-Westlake defenders all over him, and he can't seem to draw a foul because these refs tonight are letting the guys play, which could be a positive or a negative. Right now it's a negative for Notre Dame. Tyrann just doing anything. Here he sets a pick, gets a switch.
Here's Navarro Bowman, son of Navarro Bowman Sr., like we mentioned. An athlete, truly. That shot doesn't go. And there's a foul on Josiah Nance. And that fan over there seemed happy to get a hand on the ball. And let's talk about these fans a little bit. They seem to still be pretty into it despite the 19-point deficit, 44-25. Here with 6.5 remaining in the third quarter. Still time to maybe try and piece something together. We saw Notre Dame blow a lead just like this against Sierra Canyon on the road last year. When you have the home crowd with you, you never know, but stuff like that is not going to help. A horrible pass from Tyrann Stokes, and just not what you would like to see from your number 1 player in the junior class.
Yeah, Notre Dame is known for their castle. And when many teams defeat Notre Dame, they're often seen posting on social media, burn the castle, take down the castle. But the castle stays strong even through thick and thin. Right now they're making sure to clap their hands and chant defense, do anything to maybe stop this Harvard-Westlake beat down as another one falls.
And that's John Bentha, one of those 3 centers. And all the shots are just falling like raindrops for Notre Dame. And that'll be a foul there. So Notre Dame will go to the free throw line.
That's something to look forward to. Some free throws for Notre Dame. That's kind of it. Here's Zay Carroll. He's been bugging Tyran all night long. So he takes a look up to the broadcasting booth. Stokes is soft. You hear it again.
And maybe gets in his head a little bit as he misses that free throw. Uncharacteristic.
He's already missed one on the night.
Back to shoot another one to cut this lead to 20, which, frankly, it feels like small victories aren't even really worth celebrating at this point.
That one will be no good due to a lane violation. I mentioned that earlier. Lane violation. Here's Kamania talking a little bit of smack to Navarro Bowman Jr. The refs are discussing over what's happening. You hear the castle. They are not happy. Tom Dill over here, coach of the Notre Dame baseball team, trying to keep the guys in line. The dean of men, make sure they're not saying anything out of order.
It seems like they just did, as you said that, it's the speak of the devil. I caught a glimpse of something while you were saying that. I caught a glimpse of Coach Sargent laughing, almost in agonized defeat, laughing through the pain. It seems like he is just really, really frustrated about the way that this game has gone, the sequence of events, and especially that to miss both. They know they do count the free throw, so they do determine the refs come together that Bowman had not made a lane violation. And so the lead is 20, but it all seems futile right now. The Wolverines looking a lot more like the Avengers.
This is the first sight we've seen of Mark Lewis as he gets a nice box out. But still, another offensive rebound for Harvard Westlake Wolverines. We've seen at least 6 today. Here's Zach White. Oh, come on. You've seen that. We've seen that all too often now.
Mark Lewis, whose brother Nolan Lewis we saw playing some scrappy defense earlier on. Stokes trying to get to the lane. Finishes. Tough. Wanted the and one, but he'll go back to the line where he struggled a little bit tonight. Looking to change the narrative just a little bit. And Tyran Stokes is probably the best prospect, best high school player to ever step foot in this gym as a Notre Dame Knight. We've seen the likes of a lot of great players over the year, including even Zaire Williams, who plays for the Memphis Grizzlies, who played here before transferring to Sierra Canyon. That's a future NBA player. And I'm saying right now that this guy is a better prospect because he really is. He is everything you want in a player. And Will, you said before, he's the best high school basketball player you've ever seen.
Well, not so fast. Don't forget Caleb Foster, my favorite Notre Dame basketball player. He's now at Duke, where Nick Kamania will be next year as he's working on Stokes. 4-on-4. That's another travel call. That's his second of the night. They are not shy calling these travel calls against Harvard Westlake. Maybe their only turnovers, really, we've seen.
Well, Notre Dame's defense has kind of been holding their own throughout the night. 48 points is not a bad stat line to have against you, but it's just been this offense. It's been the careless turnovers and losing the rebound game all night as Bowman with a little bit of pizzazz, a juke. Bowman in the lane, turn around, finds Lewis. Lewis driving in, looking for the double, bounces in and out, and the bounces are just not going your way. When it rains, it pours, and it's going to pour on and on and on, all the way back to Coldwater Canyon.
There we go. Stokes with his own response. He's fired up. He's talking. I think he's almost like, finally. And here's the Harvard Westlake saying they believe that they will win. Yeah, that's pretty indicative based on the score. Thank you, Wolverines. Average ACT of 32. Thank you. We appreciate it. And the Notre Dame crowd decides to boo them. If I were in that crowd, I would be joining in.
Me too, Will. I'll tell you right now, when I said earlier that this rivalry transcends the sports and actually extends out to the students themselves, I mean it. These two are feisty. They've been going at each other all night, and Notre Dame whips out the Hey Knights chants, trying to get some energy. Look at that. That's the most energetic I've seen a lot of the freshmen doing that chant. They're usually very bad at they do it at freshman orientation. And the freshmen usually very low energy, but tonight they're bringing some energy, trying to be the sixth man on the court.
The Wolverines thinking they beat the Notre Dame student section when they sat down. They were then surprised. Their only response could be the scoreboard chant, which is honestly a sign of defeat if you are a student section. Working on Mark Lewis. That looks like great defense. But the shots are just falling for Harvard Westlake. Everything seems to be going right. Rabibo seeming to be very passionate about something. He's on the court. Same with his assistant. They're both on the court.
And you just have to hope if you're Notre Dame, because more than likely they will play Harvard Westlake again in the Mission League playoffs. They usually tend to play each other twice a year, and so maybe Notre Dame can just hope for regression to the mean, that Harvard Westlake won't get so lucky with their shots next time around, and the luck will change in their favor. But it has not just been luck. Let's be abundantly clear about that. It's been performance as well. Harvard Westlake is outplaying and out-coaching the Notre Dame Knights right now, as Bowman tries to drive in, gets the and one. And now more than ever, this and one needs to be an and one and not a missed free throw attempt.
Navarro Bowman, he is the star of tonight for Notre Dame. He is the bright spot. He's come in this year, and you could just tell with his handle, he gets guys dizzy, very dizzy. Immediately, with one crossover, he has them needing a map, and here he is for a three-point attempt. He takes a deep breath in.
Bowman connects, a true scorer, and by every definition of the word. He scored double figures in all of his first 9 games here with the Notre Dame Knights. Do you know how hard that is to do with a team that you've never played with before, to come in, start, and score double figures in your first 9 games with 8-minute quarters like we mentioned earlier? I mean, he's something special, and he's shown it tonight. He's been a bright spot in a whole lot of dark for Notre Dame, as they have a 20-point deficit going against them with 3 minutes and 15 seconds remaining in this third quarter. As here's Cole Holden going to fire from the top of the key, just a little off to the right. Zach White trying to save the rebound. He saves face, but it goes right to Sterling, and that's a push-off.
And I think that's a pretty soft call by the refs, who have been pretty weak on the calls. Tyron Stokes, you saw him over here on this end complaining, saying, "Ref, he's pulling me." But on this side, Tyron Stokes gives him a little bit of an arm check, and they're quick to call a foul. So, you know, maybe reverse home court advantage. There's Sterling, the attempt. There you go. That's a good rebound.
Rebound from Zach White. Here's Navarro Bowman. Bowman from 3, no good. And rebounded by Joe Sterling.
But as we see with that shot, even on a missed attempt, Bowman seems to be having fun. The only Notre Dame, that's another one. The only Notre Dame player to be having his fun. He seems to have his tongue out while he's shooting his threes.
And a bad turnover off the inbound. Harvard Westlake just got the lead up to 23. Now they get the ball again. Amir Jones can take this up and really just put another turn in the knife into the heart of Notre Dame, who is really going to be crushed by this defeat. 23-point deficit here in the third quarter. Here's Holden back to Sterling, coming off a big 3-point shot. Sterling, step back, doesn't have a shot there. In the corner, Holden, no good. He had a wide open 3, couldn't make it happen. Zach White trying to find his lane, can't do so, secures the foul.
Yeah, Zach White is honestly only really looking for the foul on that attempt. No chance of making that shot. Tyran seems to be trying to talk to the refs. He's very frustrated as he let out a word we can't say on here in frustration.
Well, this result,
we just see Coach Rabibo talk to his player. He just said, we're going to 2-3. He's known for his man, but he just said 2-3. So they're going to go into a 2-3 zone. They're going to want to force the Notre Dame Knights to shoot threes because they've struggled shooting threes. So they're going to have them go into 2-3. As you can see, the players communicating to each other, 2-3 zone, 2-3 zone. So they're going to have 2 up top, 3 down low. This makes it really hard, other than if you want to shoot threes to get back in this game.
Well, like I was saying before, and I appreciate that interjection, very good eye for that kind of stuff, Will. But this result will determine a lot. It'll be the first real splash into the results of the Mission League pool. This is one of the most hotly contested divisions in all of the country, the Mission League. Notre Dame, Sierra Canyon, Crespi, Harvard Westlake will all be fighting in this game for seeding in the Mission League tournament, and the winner of that game will go to Open Division, which is what Harvard Westlake has won in back-to-back years, the top of the pinnacle of high school basketball in the state of California. And this game will have a lot of implications for that, and Harvard Westlake looks like they will get the better end of that for right now. as they take a 21-point lead here late in the third quarter, 1:45 to go. Tyran Stokes to take it up. Isaiah Carroll on him. Stokes goes behind the back. Back to Bowman, the shining light on this team today. Nance, who's been pretty unproductive today. Twisting, turning, trying to find a shot, and hits it. Speak of the devil.
The crowd's still loving it. They're in this. They want to maybe jump in here and maybe get a couple buckets for Notre Dame. Joe Sterling, so crafty, so good at making room. That one doesn't fall for him, but they call an on-the-ground foul over the back. I agree with the ref.
I agree with the call too, but what just happened would have been the most characteristic thing to happen if it counted. Tyran Stokes tipped the ball into his own net, and that would have just felt like a very typical thing to happen for tonight, given how this game has played out with Harvard-Westlake seeming to have everything falling their way, but it doesn't count. Now the scoreboard is off. They're going to have to get that fixed. We see the athletic director running over, trying to work it all out.
Maybe they want to turn it off after this abysmal score line. Here's Tyran. Oh, they're in the bonus now, Notre Dame is, so they're going to be trying to get free throws and draw fouls on the ground, because that means they'll get some attempts at the line. Now it seemed to be 9-1, which is not the score, I can tell you that. It is 38-56 for anyone joining us now.
Well, we do have another scoreboard, thankfully, so while that one was not functioning, we could see up here in the booth. So it's a 17-point game now with 9 minutes and 7 seconds to play. I don't know. Do you think it's possible, Will, the comeback?
Well, I'll tell you what I've seen, which I haven't seen all night, is a Tyran Stokes smile. He's sort of embracing the hate at this point as we hear Stokes' saw for the third time tonight. Zach White, no good. There's Nolan Lewis. I mean, this is just the absolute display of Notre Dame turnover after turnover. We've seen double-digit turnovers. As Coach Sargent, he just honestly is in disbelief of how his team is playing on the offensive end, which is a real struggle. Defensively, I feel like these Knights have really hung in there, but offensively, that defense from man-to-man to now 2-3 zone has been absolutely brutal and suffocating for them. As we see another finish, the crowd, it loves it.
And that's Baron Linnekens again. 15 seconds remain. Notre Dame gonna need something here. Keep momentum going. Stokes in the lane, and he'll shoot two here. And Coach Rabibo calling for a travel. I agree with that. I agree with Rabibo's sentiment. It was a travel, but he'll go. Zach White will go to the line to shoot two. Or sorry, Tyran Stokes will go to the line. And it's just going to have to be a lot better from Notre Dame. They got Chaminade on the road next week. They should win that. But then on the road at Crespi, who's always a tough matchup, only a 3-point victory last year. And then Sierra Kane to finish off the Mission League season. And so it's just going to have to be a lot better and a lot more efficient.
Yeah, and if you're Stokes going to college, you can hear the crowd trying to hype him up, the Notre Dame crowd. He misses that free throw, and he will definitely just get more of those chances as he goes to college, as he misses two at the line. This is just not a good performance by the whole team.
And they're in his head now. They're in everybody's head. Harvard-Westlake smothering any attempt at what looked like it could be a potential comeback time after time. It's just not looking like it's your night. And so we head in this fourth quarter, 58-39, Harvard-Westlake Wolverines, and they show once again, despite the roster not having as much star power as it's had in previous years, why they are indeed number 2 in the nation.
Well, you know, Coach Sargent is drawing up a couple plays. If I'm Coach Sargent, I should hit a team prayer, because that's what it would take for them to get back into this game. Prayer and to lean on each other. As you see, some of the guys in the huddle are scratching their heads. They don't even know what hit them.
Well, Stokes, interestingly enough, has 16 points on the night, and so if this is an unproductive night, you got to imagine what it's like when he's really on, when he's really firing away. He just looks like an absolute beast who cannot be stopped or tamed in any way whatsoever. we're yet to see that. We've seen little flashes of it. We know what kind of talent he holds, but Harvard Westlake has shut down Notre Dame's best weapon out, and others have failed to pick up the slack, and part of that is because, as we now see, Angelino Mark will be inactive for the fourth quarter, and that is just a gut punch. Their leader, their rock, the glue of the squad, point guard senior Rutgers commit Lino Mark, will be sitting out to start this one and to finish it.
Yeah, we haven't really seen anything from these Notre Dame seniors. We've seen only Micah Tannenbaum, really, who's bringing the guys into a huddle. He's really shown some sparks on defense. Notre Dame showing some spirit on the sidelines. I mean, anything can help, right? 19-point deficit.
Anything can help and anything can happen. Friday Night Lights, not football, but basketball Friday Night Lights here. And you never know when the Magic can be in the air and fall down on a team like Notre Dame, down by 19. 7:50 to go in this one. It doesn't seem likely, but you never know. Get a little something going and never look back. As Joe Stilling takes it up, finds Kamania, who's been quiet tonight. But that basket speaks volumes there. That's all he needed to say. He reminds the Notre Dame Knights that he is here and that whether they shut him down or whether they let him reign free, they will be dominant and they will give Notre Dame a run for their money as they now have a 21-point deficit to climb up.
That's a good finish from Zach White. Something I want to talk about is these kinds of losses can be defining moments. As we saw with Notre Dame football in college, their loss to NIU was brutal. It was an absolute gut punch in the moment. But many say that without that loss, they would not have made the national championship. And this could be one of those losses for Notre Dame. This could be the defining moment for them. That was a blocking foul, so Tyron Stokes will go to the line once again. He has drawn many fouls.
And with those free throws that he has missed tonight, Notre Dame could actually be much closer to being in this game. If Notre Dame had hit 90% of their free throws tonight instead of what looks like about 60 to me, this game could be just a little bit more within reach. And I like what you said, Will, about this game being defining, especially because, like I mentioned earlier, there's always a Mission League tournament to determine who will win the Mission League officially. Harvard Westlake has won 6 years in a row, but Notre Dame has told Harvard Westlake, watch the throne. We're here, but they've made unsuccessful challenges in each of the last 3 years. As Stokes misses another free throw, hands on the head, and very frustrated with this one. But they will probably meet again. They usually meet twice a year, and so learn what you can and come back and play a little better, I guess, as Harvard Westlake calls their first charge timeout.
And you see, those are the kinds of reasons we have rivalries like this. Coach Revivo does not need to be calling a timeout right now. But you know what? He wants to win by as much as possible to truly destroy the hearts of Notre Dame Knights. That's just how the rivalries are. That's how rivalries are grown time and time again.
And it wasn't much of a rivalry for just a short time ago. From 2017 to 2022, Harvard Westlake won 9 straight against Notre Dame. Coach Sargent had never beaten them. It wasn't until Dusty Stromer and Ben Stolzberg in 2022 went on the road at Taper Gym down at Harvard Westlake and had an upset win, 71-61. And that's just how the pendulum has swung now. Harvard Westlake won both contests back in 2023 when Notre Dame had their triple-headed monster. They won in double overtime and continued their streak of always winning in this building. And Notre Dame won last year. They upset them 59-54 yet again on the road. Then Harvard Westlake played them again in the Mission League tournament, and they won big time, convincingly. So Notre Dame, they know that this is a rivalry and this is how it goes, but sometimes you get them and sometimes you get got. And tonight they've pretty much gotten got the whole entire time.
Yeah, I remember celebrating this win last year in our bedrooms at this time as they beat them 59-54 in Taper Gym. See, Notre Dame held them to 54 last year. They're already at 60 with plenty of time left in the fourth quarter. There's Zach White scrambling for the ball as he makes it up the field. Court, my bad, my apologies. Deep three, in and out. We got a rebound. There's Caleb Stokes working on Kamania. This is the matchup you like. You like this ISO right here. Dishes it out. Did not get the best of him. Stokes calling for the ball. Ogbu for 3. That's no good. I mean, this offense is just struggling. That's a 3 for Stokes. No good. This is 4 straight misses on this possession. They're just throwing up threes. They have no offensive plan, no offensive plays. We see a double team. Here's Tannenbaum. Stokes, there we go. He's fouled for, it looks like it was the 10th time tonight. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, he's still a dangerous physical presence in the paint. And Harvard Westlake is putting everything on him. They're putting 2 guys, 3 guys on him, hands, bodies, chest, all on Tyran Stokes, trying to knock him out of his lane. And it's worked, and Harvard Westlake student section, got to give him credit. They've got it in Tyran Stokes' head. He takes a deep breath, and the crowd goes quiet for him.
This seems like the kind of thing where you see with LeBron and Zion Williams. They undercall this guy. He's been called for a foul probably 10 times, and it hasn't seemed like it's enough. The crowd's going quiet, simmering their fingers. Harvard Westlake isn't even trying to make noise because they know this game is far from over. But 16 points. Have you seen crazy things?
I've seen a lot of crazy things in my life, Will. I'll tell you that right now. I've seen crazy things in high school basketball. I remember when we were together last year, almost a year ago today, on January 26th, 2024, watching Notre Dame blow a 16-point lead to Sierra Canyon on the road. Similar circumstances, there's a big turnover. Stokes, they gotta have points. They gotta have it now! The Tyrant throws it down. Tyran Stokes reminds the whole crowd, let me reintroduce myself. My name is Stokes.
That was one of the best calls I've ever heard. Kamania, that's no good. We have some momentum right here. 14 points doesn't seem like it's that crazy. I believe in miracles. I believe.
Stokes going to work. A little bit of pep in his step and puts it down. It's a 12-point game with 5 remaining.
That's a soft call. That is a soft call. And you can hear the crowd has some life. Get up, Notre Dame. It is time for school. The alarm clock is the Notre Dame crowd.
Well, what we said earlier was that if Notre Dame wants to win this game, we need a Tyran Stokes takeover. I'm telling you right now, if he decides that he wants it bad enough, he will have it. 4.5 remains, 12-point game. This is not over as Joe Sterling takes it up. Stokes going to work on Sterling. Stokes trying to box him out, twisting, turning, up, no good, rebound, Josiah Nance. Is the comeback on is what we're all wondering here. 4 minutes, 14 to go, 12-point game. Nance fires, bang! Knock it down, there you go! Josiah Nance, it's a 9-point game, single digits. Do you believe it? Do you believe it? Are we witnessing history in real time? 4 minutes remain, 9-point game. And now all cylinders are firing for this high-octane offense, barreling through the Harvard Westlake defense, and this game is coming to a close, but I don't know. Now we're thinking about overtime. I don't even know what just happened, Will.
I want overtime. It is not past my bedtime. I want overtime. This is the loudest we've heard the castle ever. We're 9 points down. Notre Dame has momentum. Rabibo calls a timeout. He needs it. Seems like Notre Dame scored 8 points in the succession of 30 seconds maybe. This is prime high school basketball. This is what it's all about right here.
Well, and I was thinking during that third quarter, Will, and earlier in this fourth quarter, I said, is Notre Dame going to just lay down and die? No, not in a game like this, not with Tyran Stokes. He is the X factor. This game will be won or lost because of his impact. And right now, he's turned the tables. They're doing it for that man on the bench right there, Angelino Mark.
I can feel the stadium pulse. It is shaking in here. This gym is quaking. We are on the San Andreas Fault, and I can feel it. Zach White, we see a full court press. This is a new change. Full court press, This is a good move in my opinion. They're not getting anything. They have to work for everything. Even touching the ball will be a struggle.
And for the first time tonight, Notre Dame student section, I think, is way more alive than Harvard Westlake. They are quiet. They are biting their fingernails off of their hands and then biting some more into the skin, puncturing it all the way. Here's Cole Holden, Micah Tannenbaum playing his defense on him. Kamania gets free, blocked, and they call the foul.
No!
And Notre Dame student section very, very unhappy with that one. Do you dare to believe? Do you dare to believe?
I believe. And this crowd does too. They're unhappy. Everyone's unhappy. Harvard Westlake seems unhappy. I don't know what's going on. But Notre Dame is loud. This is loud. Kamania sinks it, silences the crowd.
61-51. And they're chanting USA maybe as an allusion to Tyran Stokes' Team USA selection. It might be a jab at him. He seems to be living in their heads rent-free.
Call me Stretch Armstrong, because that is kind of a stretch of a chant.
Kind of. I don't know about kind of. That's a real stretch as Stokes takes it up the court. He wants the big moment. This is what he lives for. Navarro Bowman, he's had his shining moments in this game. Can he have another? Here's Nance. Nance driving in. Nance nowhere to go. Nance finds Bowman. Bowman with an open lane, puts it up and hits it. 9-point game again.
We see Notre Dame is getting hot. This game is sort of indicative of this rivalry. Harvard Westlake just picking on their little brother. Now Notre Dame clawing back, saying, no, I'm growing, I am big, I can fight back.
Open three for Carroll from the corner and hits it. And that is a big gut punch. They needed that badly.
Yeah, and we've just seen Carroll all night long. He's made 5 threes. You just can't have that happening. Foul. There we go. This game is not over. 12 points in 2 minutes, 40 seconds. The ball moves fast when you're full court pressing. Here's Rabibo. He's trying to call for something to Nick Kamania, his star man. Nick Kamania has his foot on the line in the lane, but they're not going to call that. We know they're not going to call that.
As here's Zachary White take free throws. These are monumental. He sinks the first one. Zachary White coming through when he needs it. We remember as a freshman when they played Sierra Canyon at Pauley Pavilion, he had a massive step back long two to ice that game. And he lives for these big moments. And he sees a hope that the rest of Notre Dame lives for these big moments as well.
Everyone in the gym believes that Notre Dame can come back, even the Harvard Westlake student section. That's why they've gone a lot more quiet and kind of gotten desperate with these chants. Here's Bowman facing up Kamania.
Carroll under a lot of pressure. Full court press, really putting the weight on Harvard Westlake's offense. Almost went over the head of Sterling. Here's Cole Holden. Holden has it knocked away. Stokes going after it, wrestles him to the ground. A little bit of UFC right there. Harvard Westlake calling for a foul attack there.
Many Notre Dame football coaches are joking. They joke around with Tyran saying, you should play DN for us. That looked like a DN move. He just went up straight and tackled him. I don't blame him. He wants the ball. He wants to win, as Zion Williamson says.
And he's the #1 player in the country. He's maybe the most talented prospect this gym has ever seen.
This is a full court.
But he remains just as hungry. A diamond full court press here. Isaiah Carroll to inbound. Carroll inbounds it. Here's Nick Kamania. Now they're going to retreat just a little bit. Here's Sterling. Sterling back to Kamania. They need all they can get right here. Open three, way too open.
They can have that.
Doesn't go. They get the rebound. That's what you cannot have. And Abu tipped it. It goes out on him. And you can allow that shot to be taken. You cannot allow for the rebound.
See, they've been killed on the offensive boards all day long. Isaiah Carroll, we've come back to this name over and over and over again. He has been lights out, and he got that board just now. He made a clutch three to greaten the separation. Here's him taking the ball out. Notre Dame wants it, and Notre Dame needs it right now. The crowd needs it.
And how about that three from Josiah Nance earlier? Goes underrated as one of the biggest plays in this game and bring this comeback back to a possibility. Nance playing tough D on Sterling.
Timeout.
And they call a timeout. 2 minutes and 2 seconds here to go. 65-55, Harvard Westlake. Possibility to come back is withering away just a little bit. Notre Dame needs results, and they need it now.
Tyran's having a word with the ref during clutch time. I recommend it. I recommend it. Now is the time where you need those beneficial calls. You need a stop. Steve Kerr is known for saying this. Take it one stop at a time. You need 3 stops here, and you're back in this game. You are neck and neck. It goes down to the last shot if you get 3 stops. That's all you need. 3 stops. That's probably what Coach Sargent is saying in the huddle. First, defense. Take it a play at a time. You're still clawing back. You need a stop at a time. Then you need to go down the field. Court, my second time saying that. And you need to get a quick bucket.
And we see the JV guys are listening in on the huddle, maybe trying to get some words of wisdom so that when they're on varsity 1 year, 2 years from now, they know what Coach Sargent expects of them. And it's a lot. He runs a very tight ship here. And it's understandable when you're playing against teams like Harvard Westlake, number 2 in the nation, looking to have a signature win here. What would this kind of comeback mean for Notre Dame? What could this do for the program to fling Notre Dame into that national spotlight and set them up for possible open division dreams? It all comes down to these last few possessions. So here's the inbound. This is maybe one of the most critical possessions of this game. Here's Nicholas Kamania. Too much space, tries the lay, doesn't go, can't get the rebound, blocked by Nance. And Joe Sterling recovers the offensive rebound. Another critical error here. Sterling, too much space, pulls up, falling away, and hits it. That might be the dagger.
That was MJ-esque right there. Here's Zach White. Oh, I mean, Notre Dame can get stops. We've seen that all night long. They can get stops. The problem is they can't get a rebound.
And that might be partially because of the fact that this team does not have a big. Harvard Westlake has 3 guys that clock in at 6'9". Notre Dame has none.
That's a good quick bucket. That's the kind of score you need. But you can't let guys like Nick Kamania just dribble the ball out. You can't dribble the clock out. This is a good press, though. See this? Look at this. Yep. Another timeout, forcing them to make decisions. That's what you need to do in these tight games. You need to force coaches and players to make decisions.
10 points in 83 seconds. Notre Dame is going to need a miracle, maybe a series of miracles in quick succession, but I've seen a lot tonight, Will. I watched this game go from an absolute sleeper, a complete blowout, and now what I see is a close game, hotly contested between 2 bitter rivals here in the Mission League. We want to thank you again for tuning in to NDSN as this game comes near to a close. Notre Dame trying to mount what seems like an insurmountable comeback. And we've seen a lot tonight. We've seen swings of momentum. We've seen 2 crowds going at it. Peak high school basketball rivalry showing itself in full force, and one of the best games you will watch in high school basketball here with me, Ford Quaintance, and William Weisberg on NDSN. And we greatly appreciate those who tune in live and on demand later on when we do get to you guys. As the huddle breaks, and Notre Dame now more than ever needs a stop and will need to get points in quick succession.
Yeah, Ford, you just asked, do you believe it? Have you seen crazy things? I've seen Reggie Miller score points quick. I believe it can happen. I mean, you just need the right things to happen. Right now, that's a really, really, really soft call. I mean, I do not like that call at all. I don't see any touching on that. But, you know, they're not in the bonus yet, so you can afford to give that foul, but that's just not a good call at all. I don't agree.
Joe Sterling, the Crespi transfer, was 16 on the night, had 19 against Notre Dame last year when he came in and almost mounted an incredible comeback. Exactly 1 year ago today, actually, January 24th, 2024, in this building right here, as I stood and commentated that game. Sterling absolutely enveloped. Another timeout call.
I mean, come on, Coach Rabiba, you've called 4 in the last 2 minutes. How much more do you need to talk over? Seems like you have this game put away. unless you truly make a huge mistake. You need a quick three, another stop, another quick three, another quick three after another stop.
Maybe a 4-point play somewhere in that mix. You never know, but I think the crowd here is starting to know a little bit. There's that nice little pipe dream of that comeback. It looks so possible. It looks so tangible. They felt it in their hands, but it's just been the same things all night. The rebounds, the bad luck, the great shots from players like Joe Sterling that have really seemingly iced this game now as we are under a minute remaining, 58.2 seconds here in the fourth quarter. What a night it's been, Will. It's been a big emotional journey. We've been up and down, out and around, and up here in our little commentator section. It's been a joy to commentate. It always is, and we're not going to get another chance to commentate basketball. We're seniors, and our winter basketball season is coming to an end soon. So we appreciate you guys being here, and Notre Dame will foul again.
It's not a bad choice. Too bad they're not in the bonus. They could have their big man shooting free throws. It looks like they are shooting free throws. So maybe that's a good strategic move. You still have 56 seconds. Maybe he misses a couple. Maybe he misses one. You know, big men are notorious for missing free throws. Let's see what happens at the line.
And you have to wonder what this game could be like if Angelino Mark did not go down with an injury in the second quarter. He sat out this entire second half. He was hurt earlier this year. I think he has a bad ankle or something like that. I'm not entirely sure the details. But, again, he is a rock of this team, and he can turn it on and shoot those threes that they've needed to make this kind of large comeback. This goes up to an 11-point game. 55 remains. And Angelino Mark can only watch in anguish as Notre Dame will probably drop yet another home game to Harvard Westlake. They have not won in this building against this squad.
You got to go quick here.
You got to go quick. Stokes has to just fire away. Find Nance. Stokes going quick, gets the foul, but couldn't put it away, and he'll just go to shoot two. Maybe get Notre Dame within 9, but even his free throw shooting has been.
He's limping after that. He looks to be a little banged up after that. He has not seen any clean play on the defensive end at all. Overrated chance come in, 37 seconds.
And that's despite a 23-point performance, just to show the world how impressive this guy is. When 23 points yields you overrated and soft chance, you know you're doing something right. Stokes, who is probably going to literally play at any college he wants. He gets calls every day from the best D1 coaches in the nation, and he will be somewhere great in just a couple years' time. But tonight, not really his night, and still 24 points. I mean,
Tyrann is electric. He has 24 points. Imagine if he made all those free throws, how many he'd have. I mean, what's his field goal percentage on the night tonight? What do you think?
I don't know. Not high enough to make this comeback possible. 37 seconds, and time is waning away here. But Notre Dame does know that if they want to beat this squad, they got to start off a little bit earlier. They cannot just hope to put together some magical comeback in the fourth quarter. It's going to have to be better in the first, second, third quarter. The turnovers have to clean up. The pass has got to be better. The shot selection has to be a little bit better because you got Crespi next week and you got Sierra Canyon a couple weeks from now. Or sorry, I believe that's also next week. Yeah, these games are going to be quick firing. They're going to come at the pass, and Notre Dame needs to be ready for these strong opponents that they're going to face in the coming week as the Mission League season comes to a close. And they look to break Harvard Westlake's 6-year streak of Mission League titles, and even their 2-year streak of Open Division California State titles, which is the pinnacle of basketball here in California high school ball.
You know what? First, you got to get to the Mission League tournament. You have to win games in the Mission League. It is not a given you're going to come top 4 in the Mission League any year. Another timeout, or what's the call? Advances the ball.
Well, they almost certainly will because Loyola, St. Francis, and Alamany have basically no shot, but seeding does matter. I think if you're Notre Dame, you would much rather be hosting a team like Sierra Canyon or Crespi than playing on the road at Taper Gym or at the Trailblazers Gym. Now, Notre Dame does perform better on the road at Harvard Westlake compared to here. We've talked about that a lot tonight. They will drop another game, the 10th straight in this building, to the Harvard Westlake Wolverines, dating back now what will be a decade, unless Notre Dame does get another matchup against them this season at home. Sterling sinks another free throw, and he has shown why this transfer has been a phenomenal move for both him and the squad. He has seamlessly transitioned and made his impact. In this game, he shot what I believe was a dagger. Stokes to the rim, gets the bucket, makes it a 10-point game. 70-60 now, 23 seconds remain. Full court press. They're going to foul on Will. Do you have any major takeaways as this one comes to a close?
You know, I think that this is the moment in your season where you can go and either decide, all right, we're going to come together and we're going to win a state championship, or this is the moment you say, man, we're not good enough. We can't win a championship. This is the defining moment in your season. And this is the moment you have to take away, more than from me, you have to take away and you say, you know what, guys, we got a good group of guys. We were hanging with those guys for a good 2 quarters, and we can win a state championship, an open division championship, which they've yet to do.
No Notre Dame team has ever done so, as a matter of fact, since open division was created. And Notre Dame has one of the toughest schedules in the country. Their losses this year have been to number 1, Columbus, number 6, what's that team with Roosevelt, and now to number 2, Harvard-Westlake, who proves why they are still the team to beat in the Mission League. It runs through them. 8 seconds remain, and now they begin the bye-bye chance.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to pack it up, Notre Dame. The Notre Dame fans are loyal. They're going to stay here the whole time until the buzzer. And this is just a gut-wrenching loss. These are the losses that you think about years down the line.
It is, and also for Coach Sargent, who has had this monkey on his back for quite some time and not being able to beat Harvard-Westlake at home. He's done it on the road, which I would say is probably more impressive. But tonight will not be his night or the night of the Knights. And so Harvard-Westlake will sit in their bus all the way back up Coldwater Canyon to that campus with smiles on their faces as Navarro Bowman takes a 3, but it's all futile. Harvard-Westlake wins 73-63, a monumental win for the Harvard-Westlake Wolverines, who come into this building and do what they do best, win up in here. I've been Ford Quaintance here with William Weisberg, thanking you for tuning in. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you, and good night.